Hi, this video is just going to briefly overview the project that we're going to be completing for the next 6 weeks, aka the rest of the school year. It is called the Primary Source Project. As you might remember, we use primary sources quite a lot when we study history in my class. Those are sources that are created by people who are actually living in that moment in time and experiencing whatever it is we were studying at that point in class. So typically we would be learning about the Civil War and Reconstruction right now. I'm still going to sneak a little bit of that in when I am showing you examples of primary sources and the different types of sources. However, this project is mainly going to focus on your skills as what we call civilian historian to create primary sources. So as a civilian historian, you are actually living through history right now, and whether or not you realize it, you are creating artifacts that at one point could be used to study what 2020 was like. So we're just going to give that some more focus. This project is broken down into 3 phases that you can complete at your own pace. However, the hard deadline is the last day of school, so for us that's May 21st. So the first part of the project is just called the basics. When you are looking at the pacing guide on our Canvas homepage or just below the directions on this page, you'll see that the basics cover what primary sources are, just in case you've forgotten. And there's also going to be a lesson with reading strategies, because I know that was something that we were still having a hard time with before all of this happened and we had to go to e-learning. So I want to make sure that I'm setting you up for success with some of those refreshers. The second part of the project is called Curation and Curation. If you don't know what curation means, that's okay. There's going to be a quick little lesson about what that is when you start planning your project. Now, it's important to understand that this project does not have to focus on the COVID-19 pandemic. If that's something that you think is historically necessary to capture while you create this project, that's awesome. But there's also a lot of value in primary sources that just show us normal people's lives. Some of my favorite things to study as a civilian historian, bringing that back, have been just journal entries that our founding fathers or other people who were alive in the 1700s wrote about day-to-day lives, like arguing in a hotel room about whether or not the window should be open or closed. We can learn a lot about people just from kind of their unfiltered thoughts and experiences. So don't feel like you have to tackle a huge topic in order to be successful at this project. So when we're creating and curating, you're going to have 4 different sub-lessons that are explaining different types of primary sources. You'll do a skill check to make sure you understand what those sources are and how they can be valuable in our study of history, and then you're going to create your own. The last step of the project is going to be evaluating our work. Just like in class when we've analyzed primary sources to see if they could be reliable or trustworthy, you're going to do that with your work. Eventually this might be something that someone can look back on in 10, 15, 20 years, and they're probably going to be wondering the same thing. Did this person give me an authentic experience, or maybe they were filtering things? They were trying to tell me a specific story about 2020. So there is no right or wrong way to create your primary sources, but when you're evaluating them, it'll give you a chance to kind of critically think about the work you've created and how it's portrayed your life for the last few months. So grades on this will be pretty flexible. Due dates will be pretty flexible. Like I said, I just need all of your work by May 21st. As I'm going along, I am going to update grades on Fridays. However, if you're missing something, that doesn't mean it's the end of the world. You'll just need to kind of play catch up. That's why I have the pacing guide, so that you don't have to do everything all at once at the end of the semester. So as we go along, each different little piece of the project will be posted as a link to the pacing guide. It will also have its own Canvas page or submission page, depending on what it is, and you will have plenty of directions to help guide you. And you can, of course, always email me or come to the Zoom sessions if you need help on a specific piece of it that maybe I haven't covered very well in the directions, or that just isn't clicking with you.